Thanks for joining me on The World today. I am Amarachi Ubani. This is the program where we look at the major stories making headlines from around the world. Let's begin in the United States, where midterm elections are currently going on. Citizens have been at the polls all morning deciding who makes the Senate as representatives. These elections are just as important as the presidential elections. That's because they paved the way for the presidential elections in 2016. Analysts in the U.S. are predicting the Republican Party will win because President Barack Obama's popularity rate has fallen over time, failing to rise above 40%. Democrats, on the other hand, are battling to stay ahead. They're confident, however, that they will be able to rally enough supporters to bring the much-needed votes. This year, a little over a third of the 100-seat Senate, or 435 members of the House of Representatives, 36 of the 50 state governors, and countless state and local offices are up for election. A most closely watched action, however, will be the races that will determine who controls the Senate and the upper chamber of Congress. Meanwhile, the Ebola outbreak has killed thousands of people, as we know, in West Africa, in 3 major countries in West Africa: Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. Those issues have emerged as the U.S. citizens vote in the midterm elections. But in recent days, President Barack Obama has been front and center on the Ebola response after polls showed many Americans disapproved of his handling of the situation. Well, the VOA's correspondent, Aru Pandey, has more from the White House.
From giving a big hug to newly recovered nurse Nina Pham to thanking U.S. healthcare workers on the front lines of the Ebola fight.
We need to call them what they are, which is American heroes. They deserve our gratitude.
President Obama has spent a good part of the past 2 weeks reassuring the American public on Ebola, even taking a few minutes before embarking on a campaign trip last week to speak to reporters at the White House.
America, in the end, is not defined by fear. That's not who we are. America is defined by possibility, and when we see a problem and we see a challenge, then we fix it.
The stepped-up media effort seems to be working, with a recent poll showing about 49% of those surveyed approve of President Obama's handling of the Ebola issue, up 8% from 2 weeks ago. George Washington University professor Matt Dallek.
All of these aggressive ways in which the White House has been trying to kind of push back on the story, demonstrate that it's in charge and that it is effective, have been helpful politically.
But it's not just President Obama who's made Ebola a central issue in recent days. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, seen here campaigning for Republican candidates, made headlines after he ordered the quarantine of an American nurse who had returned from treating Ebola patients in West Africa.
We're not going to take any risks with the public health in New Jersey.
Political management professor Matt Dallek says crises like Ebola and the Islamic State militant groups gaining ground in Iraq have created an opening for Republicans during the midterm election campaign.
At least historically, in the last 30, 40 years, Republicans have often been seen as being stronger than Democrats, tough on national security, tough on law and order, being willing to take the extra step to protect you.
While global crises have influenced U.S. midterm campaigns, the impact of Americans' fear of Ebola will likely be made clear on Tuesday when voters decide who should represent them in Congress.
To Northern America, Mexico's mayor of Iguala has been arrested for the disappearance of 43 students in September. Officials have accused Mayor Jose Luis Abaca and his wife of ordering police to confront the students on the day of their disappearance on September 26th. The students from a nearby teacher training college had traveled to Iguala to raise funds and protest. They have not been seen since then. Searchers uncovered a series of mass graves in the area, but initial tests suggested that they were not those of the students. Since then, more bodies have been uncovered, and officials have cast doubt on the accuracy of the initial tests. Their disappearance, of course, has shocked Mexicans and led to mass protests demanding that the authorities do more to find the missing students. We're in Europe now, where Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko is scheduled to hold a meeting with the country's security chiefs following a controversial poll that he said threatened peace in the country. The president has proposed banning a law agreed under the September 5th truce deal, which gives special status to the eastern part of the country, basically Luhansk and Donetsk. The UN has described the polls as unfortunate and counterproductive and is deeply concerned by the situation in eastern Ukraine. More than 4,000 people have been killed in fighting in the region since April. The country, of course, accuses Russia of arming the rebels and sending Russian regular troops across the border, a claim denied by Moscow. We'll take our first break now on the program. When we come back, more on the Pistorius trial as prosecutors head to the court filing an appeal against his sentence. Please join us again. Welcome back to the world today. President Goodluck Jonathan here in Nigeria his administration has been taking stock of its achievements in the past 3 years. Elections are just a few months away. Our two main ministers, Minister of Trade and Investment, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, earlier today talked about the Industrial Revolution plan that the administration says has been a game changer for the economy. He also mentioned part of the achievements in the automobile industry, as well as sugar and cement policy.
What's unique about the Industrial Revolution plan is that it doesn't stand on its own. I often tell my colleagues in council that I'm one of the most privileged ministers because I'm tied at the waist with all of them. I'm tied at the waist with the Minister of Agriculture. Therefore, the NRP is linked to the agri-transformation agenda. I need the raw material from Minister of Agriculture. I'm tied at the waist with Minister of Mines and Steel. That is why the NRP is linked to the Nigerian mining strategy. I'm tied at the waist with the Minister of Petroleum. I need that because I need the petroleum, I need the crude oil for our integrated petrochemical plant. We have to be, so it's tied to the Nigerian transport policy, the Nigerian power sector reform, because you need electricity and all that. Comparing 2011 to 2014, where were we and where are we today? Is President Goodluck Jonathan actually working? Are his ministers working? Here's the answer again. Did we have a national sugar plan in 2011? No. Now we do. The number of jobs in the sugar industry then, 3,850. Today, we're looking at 180,000 plus. Investment in sugar cane, of course, was about 100 million then. Now we're talking about $3.2 billion. Did you have any research and development in sugar cane by factories? The answer is no. Today we have two in Zaria and Ilorin. And we have funds that we have created to support the industry. We did not have any in 2011. Today we have close to about 12 billion naira with, working with BOI and the Bank of Industry.
The Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Olusegun Aganga. We're also scoring the administration high points is the Minister of the Economy and the Minister of Finance, and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who maintains that despite challenges facing the country, this administration has maintained a stable macroeconomic stability in the past 3 to 4 years. She also shows Nigerians that President Goodluck Jonathan's administration is up to the task of tackling the various economic challenges.
Yes, we face challenges in the economy, the challenges of unemployment, the challenges of exclusion, the challenges of job creation. But the point we want to make is that for the past 3 to 4 years, what you have heard from my colleagues today show that this administration under the president is facing up to those challenges and is trying to tackle them one by one. And if we remain resolute, we will be able to finish tackling all these challenges, from security to creation of employment to running the economy to making sure that every Nigerian is able to say, yes, I can stand on my own 2 feet. The number one task that every government needs to deliver and delivers in every country, America, UK, and Nigeria, is stability. And one thing you have to say for the Goodluck Jonathan administration is that we've been able to deliver macroeconomic stability for the past 3 years. The exchange rate, yes, it has gone up and down, it fluctuates, but it's been relatively stable. The inflation rate has come down from about 12% last year to about 8.5% today. The reserves have been at about 38 billion today, have remained enough to cushion us for 9 months. We have managed to put a little bit of money in our excess crude account. Yes, we could do more and should do more, but at least we have a little bit of a cushion there to draw on. Is it enough? The answer is no, but we are building it.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, scoring the administration high points. We turn now to South Africa, where prosecutors have sought permission to appeal against athlete Oscar Pistorius' shocking light sentence. Court papers have revealed that that's what people are calling it now. Last month, the Oscar Pistorius began serving a 5-year prison sentence for the culpable homicide of his then-girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, although he could be out in 10 months for good behavior. The sentence failed to consider the horrendous manner in which Ms. Steenkamp was killed, is what the prosecutors are arguing. They're also appealing against Pistorius' murder acquittal. The double amputee Olympic sprinter was charged by the prosecution with premeditated murder of Steenkamp, who was a model and a law graduate. That verdict was announced about 2 to 3 weeks ago when Thokozile Masipa announced that Oscar Pistorius would be spending a 5-year sentence in prison and could be out in 10 months for good behavior.
What will happen is that Mr. Pistorius will go into jail for a minimum of 10 months. You've got to do 1/6 in terms of the provisions of the Act of your sentence. Thereafter, the correctional supervision, if your behavior is good and you don't cause any problems, etc., and they also look at your health and your condition, they can convert after you've done 1/6 of your sentence inside, so you don't sit the full 5 years. The balance of 4 years and 2 months will be converted to corrective supervision, house arrest, community service, and everything that needs to be done, social programs, anger management, whatever this corrective services department feel is appropriate in the circumstances.
A member of the prosecution in